Hey, this is Mike from Minimal 3DP, and today we're continuing my quest for the perfect 3D print. And today we're going to look at skew correction in Klipper. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, the examples I'm pulling are from various pictures I found online. But as you're putting your printer together and using it over time, you can have cases where the frame is not completely square. In fact, here's an image where you can see, again, that there's some gaps here. It's not square. Here's another example of a frame that's not quite squared off. And when the frame's not squared off, it's very possible that instead of getting a square when you print, you'll get something like this, like a rhombus. And that is called skew. Now, in order to correct skew, there are some equations built into Klipper that you can do a test print and then put these corrections in, and it'll account for any part of your frame not being square. Now, so what we're going to do today is, following the instructions on the Klipper documentation site, we're going to print a test object, make some measurements, and then add skew correction. If there is any issues, our prints are much more accurate. So with that being said, let's start with the printed object. Now there's two different objects listed. We're going to go with an object that includes all the planes in one model. So I'm just going to click that. So I'm going to download this model and then I'll open it in my slicer. Now, I've downloaded the 100 millimeter model. I want to use the little bit bigger one. Corners here, if you look very carefully, are labeled. This is the A corner. Now, according to the directions, I need the A corner pointed towards the origin. In my case, the origin of my voron is the front left corner. So we're just going to start off by printing this model, and then we'll look at the directions on how we need to make our measurements and then make the corrections. So after 2 hours, the model completed. Now the first thing I did, in order to just figure out how I need to orient the model, I've just put the axis on my desk so I can sort of see things. And there's a diagram here. So I have my Klipper calibration spreadsheet here. And the first measurement I want to do is A to D. And so let's take my calipers. I'm going to turn them on. I'm going to zero them out. And then I'm just going to measure between these 2 points. So that's 104.77. So we're going to do 104.77. And now we'll do AC. So that's A over to C. Hold it like this. Do it this way. So I'm getting 141.21. So let's do 141.21. And now I'm going to do BD. And I did put some lettering on here. So that's B, this is D. So across this diagonal right here. Let's again check to make sure we're zeroed out. Let's get that situated about even. So I'm showing 140.97. So let's do 140.97. So that gives me my XY. And again, the A is always going to be pointing towards the origin. So it's like this. Now, what I'm going to do is renumber or re-letter each of these corners so I can do the next axis. And next, I'm going to orient the model like this with the A pointed up. Again, A is still in the corner, X is right here on this axis. Z is now the height, which is going here, and that's along this axis. So I've turned the model on its side. Now we go back over to our spreadsheet, and the first thing we're going to do is A to C, and C's right there. Zeroed out our calipers like that, and I'm getting 141.98. So let's type that in, 141.98. Next, we want BD, And so that's going to be here to here. So 141.63. 141.63. And now we're doing AD. And AD is going to be here to here. Again, zero her out. Let's see if I can get this a little bit better. And I'm getting 104.9. So 104.9. Now, our next measurement is the YZ. So let's go ahead and I'm going to change the axis here. Now let's see how we need to orient this. I can put this down. A is still here in the corner. That's correct. And then if we look at this Marlin diagram, we'll see that B is in the back. I've labeled this B here. So B is towards the back. C over here. There's a C right there. And then lastly, we have a D right here in the corner. So we can now take our measurements off this. AC, and so that's A to C right here. So we're going to orient this. First thing I'm going to do is turn this back on. Zero, we're out. And there is A and C. So I'll orient this just like this. 141.54. So let's do 141.54. Next, we're going to do BD. Let's line this back up again. So B is right here. D is down here. Make sure it's zeroed out. Exactly right. 141.33. So go over here, 141.33, and then AD. So AD should be, let's see, right here to here. So let's just 104.83. 104.83. So all our values are here. Now we just need to formulate our command. So right now I have my command right here, this last line. So what I need to do is copy and paste that into Klipper. But I have one more change I need to make. So let's switch over to our printer profile and add a bit of code. So we just need to take this set of code. So it's brackets, skew underscore correction, copy that in our printer.config. And I can put this towards the top. I'm just going to paste that in to activate our module. And then let's just hit save and restart. And that will restart my printer and apply those new settings. So we'll give that a second. Finished. Just go over to the dashboard here. And let's copy our command again. Just going to hit copy. I want to make sure it's not actually copying the formula. It should just do the value. So there's the value. Hit send. That sends the command and sends the skew correction to the printer. Now, one other thing we can do here is we can go down towards the bottom and let's try running this command, this get current skew, which should report the skew calculations. And there we go. So it's showing the correction for the printer. And now to test everything and test how this works, let's go ahead and send this model to the printer again, and then we'll check it out. So I've printed my second model. So now I have two of them, one before correction, one after. And so I've done my measurements. Let me go over my spreadsheet. So I've done all my measurements. So I have my initial measurements, my verification measurements. I've entered my command into Klipper. So I can just copy the command here and then just paste it into the console. And so it's in there. Now, just to get the current values, I can paste this command in. So I put this in my spreadsheet so you can see it real easy. And then I've pasted those values directly into the spreadsheet. Then with my new model that I printed after correction, I measured all those values. Those give me the various commands I need to run. So I just copy those commands and then run them in the console. Those give me all the values. And then down here you can see I need all these values to be lower than the initial values. And we can see that they are lower. I've set up the spreadsheet where it shows me red if these are higher. If it's less than or equal to 0, I'm saying it's good. So my values now are all working. I've done some correction. It looks like things are a little bit better off. Now let's take a look at the slicer real quick and just see what we need there. So in the slicer, the way this is recommended you do it is you go to your machine start code, and after all your movements, you're going to cut and paste this set skew command. So you're just pasting that right in. So this is after my initial start. Then, again, according to the directions, set underscore skew clear equals 1, and you're going to add that to your end code. And in my case, I just put it right here in the end code. I'm saving my machine G code. And so there, I'm good to go. So next time I print, it's going to be adding in those skew calculations. I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please post below. I look forward to talking to you again soon. Thanks. Bye.